Okay, welcome back. This is going to be how to make a sound on your instrument or mouthpiece, but for us, it's going to be talking about the stick and how exactly we're going to hold the stick. And then in another video later on, I'm going to show you how we're going to move it with the practice pad. So the very first thing we need to talk about is how a stick is made up. So up here, we have the bead of the stick here at the very top, and then we have the shaft of the stick moving down here, okay? So what we want to do is all of the stuff, obviously we want this part of the stick, the bead or the tip of the stick, that's the part that we're going to want to contact the drum a little later on. Okay, so we're going to hold the part that's down here away from the bead. Okay, the very first thing I want you to notice is on your hand, you have these little creases, okay, where your knuckles meet or where your knuckle is, okay? The very important, the most important part for us is going to be this very first knuckle or crease on our pointer finger. Now, I'm going to use my dominant hand to show you this, but you can use, which is the right for me, but you can use the left if you are more comfortable with your left hand, okay? So what's going to happen is we're going to take this stick and we're just going to rest it in that very first knuckle or crease, okay? So if you can see it's running up and down like this, the stick is just gonna go right in there like that, okay? Now, very importantly, we are going to take our thumb and it's going to go directly across from that. So our pointer finger and our thumb are right next to each other. Now, what things that we want to avoid here? We want to avoid having our thumb up like this. We don't want it to be pointing like that. We want to have our thumb flat on the stick and right across from our pointer finger, okay? Now, next, what we're going to do is we're going to take these other three fingers that we have hanging out here. We're going to wrap them around the stick to where that they're all making contact with the stick. And now, if you look, the stick is touching my fingers and my palm. What we don't want to do is we don't want to have the stick out here to where our fingers are away. We don't want to have our fingers our stick just in the fingers. We want to have our stick in the fingers and in the palm down here. So that's what it looks like, okay? When we do this, what should happen is this area between our thumb and our first finger, this should be closed or just slightly open. It should not look like this. We want it to look like this, okay? And then all we're ready to do after that is we're going to turn our wrist to make our first sound later on. Okay, so again, to recap all of that, we're going to take our hand, we're going to place the stick right in here on our first crease. We're going to push the thumb right across from it to where the thumb is flat. I'm sorry, I'm watching the video to make sure you can see it on the video. We're going to take our fingers, we're going to wrap them around to where the stick is in our fingers and in our palm. Then we're going to turn our hand over. Make sure that there's no opening right here, or if there is, there's a very small opening. And then we're going to move from the wrist. So move up and down. Now, that's going to take a couple of times to do with your dominant hand, but it's also going to take a lot of times to do with your non-dominant hand. So what I would do is I would take this video and I would go back to the beginning and I would do that with the video until I feel really comfortable with my dominant hand. And then what I would do is I would go to my non-dominant hand, watch the video again, and make sure that everything is exactly the same in your right hand and your left hand. So that's going to be how we would make a sound on our instrument, our mouthpiece. I know we didn't actually make any sounds, but that will at least show you how we are going to hold our sticks later on. In a later video, we're going to show you how to put the sticks on the pad and where all that's supposed to be happening. Okay, so rewatch this video if you need to, and we'll see you guys later on.